Hi, this is Mimi Francis, leader of the Francis Home Team Real Estate Company in the Triangle area of North Carolina. I'm actually coming to you today from beautiful Boone, North Carolina, where we're visiting our daughter who's attending App State. Hey, driving up through the mountains, it occurred to me we see different fuel sources, and I want to pass along a little overview of energy sources for your home, because it's very different here in the mountains than it is in the Triangle area of North Carolina. There's 4 primary types of fuel that are used for bringing energy to your house, and there's 4 primary systems that require energy. The first system, of course, is your lights, electricity within the house. The second is your air conditioning system, which is almost always run off of electricity. The third is your heating system, and depending upon the type of furnace you have, there are several different sources of heating energy. And the fourth would be your water heater, which is typically natural gas or electric, certainly out in the Triangle area. In addition, first-time homebuyers in particular are sometimes surprised to find out it can be different energy sources for those different systems. In our house in Apex, for example, our home is on a heat pump. A heat pump is one system. It's an electric system that controls the air conditioning. It also controls the heating. So we're electric for air, we're electric for heating system, but our water heater is actually natural gas. So you can have mixed systems within the house, not an issue. So electricity is clear. People, you see electrical lines, it's typically very common, no explanation necessary. The second source is natural gas, and natural gas is typically only found within city limits. The reason for that is natural gas is piped through lines that run under the street that connect to the house, and natural gas can be used for your gas log fireplace, for example. It can be used for gas stoves, and also can be used for water heaters and your furnace to heat the house. Very common in city. Another source is liquid propane, or LP, which is actually very common up in the mountains here. And LP is stored above ground, and my children call them submarines. The big metal containers by the side of the house is typically where it's stored. It's an excellent heating source. It works very well in areas where natural gas is not piped out, and is very, very common in the mountains. Another source would be oil. Now, oil is tend not to use so much. You may find it in older homes. In fact, inside the Beltline in Raleigh, there are some houses with buried underground oil containers. Also out in the country, you'll find some. The downside with having it buried is certainly more aesthetic than having it above ground. The downside is the contact. It's a metal container, and the metal contacting soil and rock and dirt and moisture means that they're much more likely to erode underground. If there's an old empty metal storage tank that corroded, probably not an issue or may not be an issue. But if there's any oil remaining, which is very common, if some oil is remaining, then we get into hazardous waste, and the EPA gets involved with how that has to be remediated, how much soil has to be taken out, how much is contaminated, can become very costly and quite complicated to do. So we've got electric as a source, we have natural gas in city, we have LP, typically up in the mountains, and we have oil in older homes. In fact, in some of the old homes, the Victorian homes or the little bungalows inside the Beltline, you may also find evidence of a coal chute, of when coal was the primary heating source. Hey, hope that little overview is helpful. Mimi Francis of the Francis Home Team. Love to help you or someone you know who's thinking about buying or selling a house in the Triangle area.